What is up, everybody? It is Drew, Traveler the Burning Abyss, here with another video. And if you watch my last video that I posted like a day or two ago, and you're like, man, I would love to play Mermails, but I really don't know how. I don't know combos. I don't know how to do it. I'm gonna show you guys some combos today. Some that I have created myself, some that I've seen other people create. My list has changed, and I have made changes that I discussed in the deck profile. So if you paid attention to the deck profile, you would know that there are changes that I was going to make, that I said I would be making. And if you watch the deck profile and you scroll down to the comment section, you'd see a lovely heated argument with a fucking idiot. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and I'm going to show you guys some combos. Some will be 2-card combos, some will be 3, so on and so forth, but it'll be pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and jump on it, and I will show you guys some pretty neat stuff that you could do with this deck. All right, so I'm going to start by showcasing this combo that I came up with. It is a 3-card combo, which is kind of unfortunate, but it plays through a lot. This should play through pretty much any tier hand whatsoever. So if you play against tier, like, this just completely should break their hand apart and make it so they can't play the game. So you start off with your minstrel effect pitching the angler, because the angler will get its effect after you resolve the minstrel. So basically your opponent is already down a card, which is probably going to be like a Havness, and then the angler will summon your 2 nimble beavers. Then you can summon the diva, which will summon your Neptybus. I'm going to try and make sure that I have enough room to show all this here. And then Neptybus will trigger for cost by sending your dragoons and search for another dragoons. Then at this point, for the Sea Serpent, you're actually going to add Moulin Glacia. You'll see why shortly. So what you do now is you link your 2 nimble beavers. That does put 5 in grave. And you make your Ahashima. Ahashima triggers to summon the Dragoon from hand and Dragoon from grave, and turns them into a Dweller. So not Bahamut, we go for Dweller. Then you're going to activate Dweller, so now your opponent's graveyard doesn't work. They didn't get a Havness anyways because we banished it off the minstrel. After that, you can search with your dragoons. You can grab any Sea Serpent that you feel is necessary for your hand. It does not matter what you grab, whatever you want to grab. I'm literally going to add an infantry. I'm not saying you have to add infantry. Please keep in mind, infantry is not the mandatory add. You do not have to add it if you don't want to. But we're back to 5 in grave. Now we're going to special summon our Moulin Glacia and rip for 2. Even if we hit another tier limit card, it doesn't matter, because they're not going to be able to trigger it in grave because of Abyss Dweller. If we hit Keldos, Agitos, anything like that, they're not going to be able to trigger either because, once again, they're under Dweller. At this point, we can overlay our Diva and Ahashima, and that's going to make our Gigantic Sprite. Gigantic Sprite's effect will be going off by detaching the Diva, and we're going to summon a Swap Frog, and Swap Frog will dump another Swap Frog to grave. And at this point, we're going to link the Gigantic and the Neptybus, and we can make Elf, because Elf requires 2 monsters including a level / rank 2, so not both of them have to be, only one has to be. You're then going to use the effect of Elf to revive Swap, and then you're going to overlay your swaps to make a Toad. So essentially what this is going to grant is, during your opponent's turn, they're also going to be locked out of graveyard effects. You've also ripped their hand for 2 cards, and you have double Omni Negate essentially, and you're going to get resources back because Toad is going to add stuff back. So you could add back a Diva, and then you could add back something else, whether, you know, whatever you want to add, you can add back. Like, let's say you just want to add back a Dragoons, okay? Like, that's off of your 2 negations. And you can revive this with the Elf because it was properly summoned, so that's really cool. We also get another search off of the Dragoon on our opponent's turn because it'll be detached off of Dweller. So yeah, that's a combo I came up with. It's a 3-card combo that gets you a hand rip for 2. Your opponent gets no graveyard effects for your turn or their turn, and you set up 2 Omni Negates in addition to regaining your resources and whatever you draw. You'd also have 2 additional cards in your hand regardless, because you are starting the combo with just the 3 cards I showed, you will have 2 other cards. So that would be the first combo that I wanted to showcase that I have come up with. All right, so combo number 2, I'm going to show you how we get to essentially the same exact thing with just 2 cards, and that would be Infantry and Diva. This essentially ends you on the same exact board that I showed you in the first combo, but instead of having to open 3 cards, you get to open 2. The only downside is that you don't have the ability to strip cards from your opponent's hand, but it happens. So we normal Infantry, and then we get an additional normal of Diva. Diva will trigger. I think I have most of my stuff here on top. Yep. We summon the Neptybus out. Neptybus will send a Dragoons to add a Dragoons. And then at this point, your Dragoons will trigger, and you're going to grab your Moon Glacia again. Like I said, this does play through tier stuff, which is crazy. From here, you're going to link your Infantry and your Neptybus, and you're going to make Sprint. You're then going to use Sprint's effect to send a Nimble Angler. Angler will trigger to summon Beaver, 2 Beavers. Then we're going to link both of these into an Ahashima. So Ahashima triggers, which summons Dragoons from hand and Dragoons from grave. And you're going to make Dweller again. We're actually going to make it over here in the far left zone. So because we now have the materials under Dweller, because one was summoned from grave from Ahashima, we now have 5 waters in grave. So we special summon our Moulin Glacia, and we activate the effect to rip 2, because we have 5 waters, we can summon them. When we activate the effect to rip 2, we're going to chain our Dweller, because now when they discard their cards from their hand, whatever they have that hits grave is going to be negated because of the Dweller. After that resolves and they've pitched 2 cards, you will get Dragoon's effect to search. Once again, just like last combo, whatever you want to search for a Sea Serpent. If it were me personally, depending on my hand, it might be Megalo for the following turn for the Crackback. But depending on what other gas you could have in your hand, maybe you want an Infantry, maybe you want something else. But we're just going to grab a random card like Megalo. Like I said, it does not matter what Sea Serpent you add here. I am showing you the basic core combo as to what I'm trying to accomplish. From here, we're going to overlay Sprint and Ahashima, and that will get us into Gigantic. Once again, Gigantic's effect will be activated. We get to play Swap. Swap will dump a Swap, and then we link the Gigantic and the Diva for Elf, and then Elf effect brings back a Swap, and we'll overlay them for Toad. So basically, once again, we have the same combo from last time where our opponent is going to be locked out. They're losing 2 cards from their hand. We have 2 Omni Negates. They're not going to have their graveyard access. So that's all pretty good. And on top of that, we will get 2 waters back from Toad and a search from Dweller. So our Megalo will definitely be live next turn, which is also fantastic. So there's a lot of stuff that we can do. That's a 2-card combo. The only big difference is that you don't get to take something out of your opponent's hand with the starting Minstrel and Angler like we did before, but this still does get you pretty far. Essentially, if you can get any 2 level 2s onto your field or a way to make Sprint, your chances of comboing off and making this combo are pretty strong. Don't get me wrong, you can definitely make Bahamut if you wanted to, but I don't see a reason to do that. If you do want to make Bahamut, you'll have another Toad on the field by doing so, which is cool. The only thing that you are going to kind of have happen is that you're going to end up linking the Bahamut Shark and the Moulin Glacia for Abyss Glacia, and the Sea Serpent you search will be heavy infantry. So I'm going to show you that combo. That way you can at least see the variation as to how I do it. All right, so once again, we're going to kind of go over that same combo with a different ending. This variation is definitely meant more for the non-tier limit matchups because you don't make Dweller. So yeah, that's very important to note, but we normal the infantry and we normal the Diva in addition. Diva will trigger and we'll summon our Neptybus. Neptybus will send a Dragoon to search another Dragoon wherever it may be. There we go, another Dragoon. Then our Dragoon will trigger and we'll grab the Moulin Glacia. From here, very similar, we're going to link the infantry and the Neptybus, and we're going to make our copy of Sprind. Sprind will send our Angler, and that'll get to special summon 2 Nimble Beavers. And then we'll link these two for our Ahashima. All the combo is the same so far. So the Ahashima triggers, we get to summon the Dragoons from hand and grave, and this time we're going to make Bahamut. So we now have 5 waters in grave. So we're not going to use Bahamut yet. We actually special the Moulin Glacia and we rip 2. Like I said, this is for your non-tier limit matchups. Anything that is not tier limit, you can do this against. You're ripping 2 cards from their hand, which is fantastic. You don't have to worry about graveyard stuff probably because you're not playing against tier. From here though, we are going to detach off of Bahamut and summon a Toad. That will trigger our Dragoons in grave. Which will grab us a copy of infantry. All right, and from here we're going to overlay the Ahashima and the Sprind just like last combo, and we're going to make Gigantic. Gigantic will use its effect, and we're going to summon a swap. If I still have them on top somewhere, I don't think I do. I think I shuffled. Okay, so we summon a swap. Swap effect goes off. We dump a swap. Cool. All right. And from here, we're going to link our Gigantic and our Bahamut. And that will make us an Elf. Elf effect will summon swap from grave. And we're going to overlay them actually underneath the Elf. It's actually very important that we do this for a Toad. Now this is the downside, okay? So technically you can, if you want to, you can make this here. If you want to, you don't have to, okay? You can make it here, and then you can link Diva and one of your Toads if you'd like. And you can make your Abyssalacia, because Abyssalacia requires 2 fish, sea serpent, and or aqua monsters. The downside is that linking the Moulin Glacia takes away your battle phase, but it doesn't make a huge difference. Sometimes it can, sometimes it can't. It's completely dependent on what your opponent is playing. If you want your battle phase, you keep this on board and you can make this right here. If you don't care about your battle phase, you make the Toad here. So I'm going to show both variations. If you keep the Toad here, you link these two for Glacia right here, which is pretty good. If you don't want to lose your battle phase, you make the Toad here with these two here, and then you link Toad and Diva, and you make your Glacia here. When you do so, your Toad will trigger, and you will get a water monster back to your hand from your grave, which is fantastic. You can get a Dragoon back, which is awesome. So now you've got an infantry and a Dragoons. But essentially, you are getting your 2 Omni Negates, your Rip for 2, and you will get a pop because you can discard infantry to search for a Mermail. So let's go ahead and grab Teus, and then your infantry will trigger because it was discarded off of that, and you'll get to pop a card. On top of that, your Toad will be adding back 2 water monsters from your graveyard, which is fantastic. So we have a Neptybus and a Dragoons. We can add back an infantry at some point because we would negate with this, and then we can bring it back with Elf, and then the Toad negates again, and you can grab back whatever you need to grab back. If you'd like to grab another Dragoon, you can, because that gets you more searches. If you want to grab back like a swap, or if you want to add the Toad back to your extra deck, or whatever you want to do, basically whatever you want to do. So yeah, that's like the multiple ways of doing that. Very, very interesting the way that works out. I'm gonna do, I think I should probably do another combo just to show you some of the other stuff that you can do. I think that, you know, some diversity is always good. That way everybody can see a bunch of different stuff. So 3 combos I don't think is ever enough. So I'll show you guys one more. All right, so the classic Teus Dragoons opening. This is something that everybody has seen before in Mermail. So we're going to pitch our Dragoons to summon our Teus. That will trigger both of their effects at the same time pretty much. You can order them. I believe you have to do Teus 1, Dragoons 2, which is fine. But we're gonna grab Diva and Gund. So this gets shuffled. I don't even know why I'm shuffling. We're going back in. Diva effect. We then get to summon out a copy of Neptybus. Neptybus will go off to send Dragoons. We'll search Dragoons, and then we're going to search for a Sea Serpent, which in this case can be our Moving Glacia. Sweet. Okay. From here, we're going to link our Abystius and our Diva, and we're going to make Sprind. Sprind effect goes off, and we get to, I'm just going to move one of those to the front. We're going to send Nimble Angler, and Nimble Angler's effect will go off, which will summon 2 beavers out here. Currently, we have 5 Waters in Grave. So once again, if you're not playing against tier, this is what this combo is for. We drop our Moving Glacia because, like I said, 5 Waters in Grave. Our opponent loses 2 cards. We then link these 2 off, and we can make our Ahashima. Ahashima will summon Dragoons from hand and Dragoons from grave. Then we will overlay for something like a Bahamut. Bahamut effect, we get to summon out a Toad. That'll trigger our Dragoons to search for a Sea Serpent. In this case, let's grab a Megalo, just so we have one. Cool. Megalo is pretty good to have here, because on the following turn, when we summon it, we can pitch the Gund, which will summon back the Teus, which then can get us into an Abyss Gaios, which is pretty good. So your Ahashima and your Sprind become gigantic. They should all look pretty familiar. We use the effect, and we're going to summon out a swap. The swap effect will send another swap wherever that is. There's the other swap. Cool. From here, we can link off these 2 and make an elf. Elf effect, summon swap. And once again, you're at your crossroads of whether you want a battle phase or don't want a battle phase. Kind of up to you as to what you want to go for. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. This goes further than that. These get overlaid for Toad here, and then these 2 can be linked for your Lacia. I'm sorry, I forgot that there's an extra step here. So this combo is a little different. So essentially what happens now is you've got all this stuff in grave. Your Toads will add stuff back. You're going to have 3 Omni Negates because you're going to have 1 Toad, 2, and then Elf can bring back this Toad because it was properly summoned. And then you have a pop off of Abyss Lacia. So essentially you've hand looped for 2. You're going to have 3 Omni Negates, and you're going to have a search, multiple searches actually, because you can add the Dragoons back off of a Toad and send it with this, and then you'll get a search for a Sea Serpent and a search for a Mermail, which you can get Pike, which is also fantastic. So yeah, this is actually a really crazy hand. This is only starting with, you know, 2 cards, so you probably have more cards in your hand, which is cool, but you're locked into 2s at this point, so you're not going to be able to do your Megalo summon, which is fine. But yeah, that basically rounds up the combos that I wanted to showcase. Obviously, there are a lot more. There's an unlimited number of combos really that I could go through, but I wanted to showcase what I've been doing fairly consistently since putting this variation together. I think the nimble stuff is probably the best way to go. I'm not playing Substitute or Dupe anymore, which I mentioned in my profile yesterday that I was probably going to cut them if everyone was listening and paying attention. So yeah, that's basically what I'm turboing out. It's pretty darn cool, pretty sweet, and I've been enjoying it thus far. So hopefully you all enjoy it too. And if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to smash that. If I could speak English, that'd be cool in my own videos too, right? So smash that subscribe button and turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload more cool and awesome content like the combo video you just watched. And obviously a thumbs up is significantly appreciated. I always appreciate when you guys give me a thumbs up. It's just a very nice little reward. But yeah, if you enjoy my Mermail content, cool. I love doing Mermail content. Mermail is the deck that I'm enjoying the most right now. I'm not really playing as much meta as I used to. I got rid of all my sprite stuff other than the gigantic, the elf, and the sprint. So yeah, I'm not playing sprite anymore. I'm literally playing rogue to casual decks at best because I'm tired of the game. I've been playing the game competitively since 2015, and I've been playing the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself since it came out, so I'm a little fried when it comes to playing the best decks. Yeah, so that basically rounds everything up. Hopefully everybody enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought down below, and I will see all of you next time in the next video. And if you guys aren't subscribed to Nepty too, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to Nepty, and subscribe to my boy zssprime. His account is, I believe it's Abyssland. I'm going to link his channel, and I'll link Nepty's channel in the description of the video. So if you guys want to go and check their stuff out, please do, and subscribe to them because they're two awesome dudes. But for right now, this is Drew, Traveler of the Burning Abyss, who got a little wet today playing Mermails, signing out.